Mood. Relatable as fuck.
I'm sure all of us have got stories here. Robin, I'm sure you're going to want to share one maybe of like times we've been burnt by friendships, and like what do you take from that, and you know, how do you deal with that going forwards and that?
Yeah, for sure. As context, when I was younger, I was quite anxious attachment style. I was very, very people pleasery, if that's a word. And it is now. It is now. And I felt that through pleasing others or through, you know, putting everyone's needs before mine, that's how I would be safe. That was a big link for me. And that's something I've come to realize now as I've got older. So therefore, friendships were basically, in my experience, people who were friends with me might not agree, but in my reflections and my experience of this, friendships were very much based on me appeasing them. And over the years, when that kind of didn't begin to happen, or when it stopped happening, or when I began to, you know, when I went off to uni, for example, those friendships were no longer supported by me constantly at someone's beck and call or change it. So then that changed the dynamic, and then it weakened it. And then I did this and it weakened it. I moved to London, it weakened it. So all of these things that I wasn't consciously doing to affect that friendship, but obviously had an impact on how much I could give or how present I could be. And that really made me realize, my goodness, it wasn't me that they wanted, it was what I could give that they wanted. And, you know, maybe not all the time, but enough to affect if they were friends with me or not. And there were parts of what I stood for that they enjoyed, part of what I stood for that were my core values that they didn't enjoy because it challenged them. And I think that was I lost all my school friends basically in one foul swoop. And it was a really there was a lot going on in that kind of few months of my life. Like, lots of things happened all at once. I lost my job. I lost all my friends. I decided to shave my hair off because why not? Let's throw that in the mix. Sure. Interesting kind of event. I got into a relationship.
You did a Britney.
I did a Britney.
Yeah.
It's a rebirth. It's a rebirth.
Yeah.
Of like I
feel like when a woman's going through shit, if she's just sitting with her head,
Maybe your fucking head. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in a really bad place, and then I lost all of these friends that I now look back and think they were obviously ticking time bombs anyway, because if it wasn't that, it would have been something else. Do you know what I mean? Sure. And I remember I was devastated. I was in a really, really dark place because of it. And I just thought, oh my God, I'm never going to make friends again. Like, how do you make friends? I've been through university. I've been through school. I don't have kids yet, so I can't make friends with other mums and stuff. Like, I'm in this limbo where what the fuck, you know? And I remember feeling so lonely and terrified. And also that I wasn't a good person. That was a massive identity crisis that I had, because I was like, these people all hate me, therefore I'm a bad person and I'm not enough. And I never gave enough, actually, even though I tried. And I put all of it on me, that I didn't put any ownership onto them or what they might have done wrong or done right, or I questioned myself only, no one else. And that was obviously something that I have since worked on and really kind of began to break down, and I now have a much more neutral view on. But at the time it was so devastating and I hated myself. So then I went on and I did some other bits. I volunteered doing something random and made friends through that. And actually the people that I have in my life, so obviously I've got my 30th coming up, and I'm a list person, and I made a literal list of people that I wanted to invite. And on that list there is 24 people, and even that I was like, there's probably some people here that I wouldn't, if it was a different birthday, maybe I wouldn't invite, do you know what I mean? But I was like, I'm really happy. I don't want any more, I don't need any more people than that, do you know what I mean? That's already quite a big number. And I think, God, how lucky am I to have 24 people that I can put on a list and think, I want you around me on a time that's special to me. And And I know that those people are people that I can be genuinely my worst, best, everything in between self with. And maybe I won't be friends with them forever, and that's okay. But right now, they're really important people to me, and I feel safe with them. And I think that's something I've really learned. Yeah. So, like, even if these aren't friends for life, you know, maybe after a few years' time, maybe we drift, and that's okay. But like right now, to have those people that I feel like seen by, understood by, and like feel safe with, that to me is a huge win. And I feel so grateful for that, you know. So looking at the turbulence that I went with in my younger self and losing friends, thinking I'd lost everything, whereas actually it was making space to gain all these incredible people that actually value me and my boundaries and what is important and what's not. Like, what a blessing is that, you know. That's the way that I've kind of contextualizes it, I suppose.
Did you ever because I'm also a I'm also a bit of a people pleaser. A lot of the stuff you said really resonated with me, but like, did you ever get to a point where you felt confident or like comfortable enough to say to them how you felt about the situation? Like, did you get closure on it? Like, Lynette and I've had this conversation before with situations where like closure has to come from within as well, right? But like, was there a time that you said, I got to say my piece, or at least they knew how I felt? Like, was there anything like that at all?
No, I didn't get that. And would I have liked it? Yes. If I could have chosen or dictated how that particular phase of my life and how those friendships would have gone, yeah, at the time I would have. Now I'm totally fine with that, because I really hope, you know, I wish them well, I wish myself well. But at the time I craved it because I was resisting the change and resisting letting everything go, right? And I wanted my day in court to prove myself to everyone, right? And prove that I'm the right person, prove all this stuff. Whereas now I've got into the habit where I think, do you know what? You're right. Whatever you think about me, whatever you think, whatever your opinion is, you're right. Who am I to say, right? I'm not going to sit here and argue and waste my energy on trying to convince you of me. If you like it, great. And if you don't, you're right. That's fine. So I never did get closure, no. And that was something I grappled with for a long time. But now, I always think, you know, it's better to have a space than the wrong face, right? And I think if you're having to beg for that interaction or beg for someone to listen to you, then there's no point. It's a waste of energy.
No, that's a really good place to be, for sure. Because like, it's like you don't always get that opportunity to say to somebody, you know what, you really upset me, I'm really hurt by this, etc., etc. And I think it's just some of those things that you have to look at. Okay, well, what did I learn from that, and what will I take that with me into my next friendships and that. And people pleasing side of things is that it's our fault to an extent as well, as sometimes why we're treated the way we're treated, because we allow a behaviour. We don't realise that we're allowing a behaviour.
Preach. Yes.
We don't have a boundary. We're people please. We don't want to be seen as the horrible bitch, or like because we spoke up for ourselves and that. And some people, and I kind of got to a point when I was a bit younger, but I still struggle with it a bit as well. Is that thing of, if someone can treat me and talk to me a particular way and not feel any shit for doing that, then I have absolutely every right to be able to do that back to them, right? Because if they think it's okay to speak to me in a particular way, then it's absolutely fine to do it back in some respects. But I think I had the same sort of thing. I had friends that I was very close with. I think we just all grew out of our friendship over time, and I just didn't see it. I think that's the real. I think if I'm going to be completely honest, and I included them into like one of the biggest days of my life, and they just weren't there for me like I thought they would be. And if anything, it caused a lot of problems. And I kept saying after, like, what did, you know, why do they treat me like this? Why are they treating me like this? Like, what did I do, etc. And then it got to a point where I was like, no, like, I didn't do anything in some respects. Like, why? More the question is, why did I allow that treatment? It's not why are they treating me like this. Why am I allowing to be treated like that? Because I loved them very dearly, and I would have done anything for them. And I was very hurt, same as you, very hurt that like I was being treated in a particular way. I'd never have done that to them, and I couldn't understand it. And it's hard. It's very hard. And I same as you, never really had that conversation with them. And it's very awkward as well, especially when you've got friends that are all connected. Like, you don't want to be the person that basically says fuck all of you lot as well, because I just kind of kept my distance with them. And I think only My thing was just before Christmas, one of them sort of slightly approached me. They knew I was upset with them, but and I was always a bit scared to really speak my mind about it because I didn't want to be a bad person, all that shit. And one of them did sort of approach me and I said, well, actually, no, I'm not okay, and I'm really upset with with a lot of things, and I'm not comfortable even saying that I'm upset with the situation, but I've realised that I loved you guys way more than you loved me, and I can now just kind of see really what the friendship really was. And it was all no, there's been a misunderstanding. And it's no, it wasn't me. I had people telling me. I saw friends and family that saw the behaviours and that, and they were pointing out to me. So it wasn't just me making it up and being crazy. And I always said, I'd have it out with them. And I am one of those people. I might take forever to have it out with you, but I will eventually have it out with you. And it won't be an argument. I think it's just a case of my feelings need to be said. I need that closure. I've closed it for me, but I think sometimes it's good to get that last bit out as well, just to say it and be well, I've said my piece. But COVID then kicked in, and I just never bothered because it got to the point I was I'm okay with where it's at. I'm not angry with them anymore. They've got their lives. I hope they're happy. I hope they've made new friends and that, and I'm good too. So yeah, it can be really difficult, but it made me realise I'm also the problem because I allowed it for so long without kind of clocking, because I didn't want to lose friends, I didn't want to lose face, I didn't want to be seen as a bad person, etc. But it's again lesson learned, right? And I think we take that with us into whatever. I think you're still learning even now. I might be hitting 40 next year, but you're still learning these lessons as you go along. What about you, Lynn? Any experiences like you?
This could be a topic in itself about how relationships affect friendships. And so I was in a not very nice relationship many years back, and it was quite isolating. And I locked off a lot of friends. Literally just kind of went off the radar to the point where people are oh, she's got a new boyfriend or whatever. She's and they just kind of accepted it. And when it all kind of went to shit, and I kind of decided actually that's it for me, and I decided this isn't right, I shouldn't be in this relationship, and kind of made that decision. I then reached out to, rightly or wrongly, to those friends that I'd locked off, and very lucky that actually there was a couple who kind of got it. And once I explained the situation to them, they were like, why didn't you tell us? They welcomed me back with open arms, even after a 3-4 year hiatus and completely off the grid. And what that taught me, just to not waste any time with people that are giving you bad energy. I now don't think two ways about blocking people or locking people off as well. So there was 2 people, actually a girl who it's like you mentioned, Robin, at university you expect to kind of make lifelong friends, right? And there was this one girl who I'd met at university, and we did everything together, and there was an incident that happened. I was trying to give her advice on something, basically, and she turned around and said to me, no wonder your ex did what he did to you. No wonder you. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to put the phone down right now. And it was all over the phone. I'm going to put the phone down right now, and I don't ever want to speak to you again. And that was that. And it was it was years and years and years of friendship. And that was that one thing she said to me. And I was like, okay, I don't need that energy. I don't need to hear that. What is actually wrong with you? There was another friend that actually did that to me as well. Yeah, I think it's, again, something happened, an incident or something, or I think it was all over Facebook. I don't know, some sort of misunderstanding, and he kind of blew it all out of proportion and said, oh yeah, no wonder, exactly the same thing. And I was like, okay, see ya. Think it. Don't ever fucking say that to me. How fucking dare you?
In an adult way. If you've got genuine concerns about my behaviour and that I'm running crazy, then sit down with a glass of wine and be like, look, I'm worried about you. What's going on? I noticed this and this. Maybe that's why this. Let's talk about it. If you're my friend, bring that to me as an adult. You know, and totally get you. I relate to the not very nice relationship thing. And can I just say, it's so funny, I think, when women have been in, let's be real, abusive relationships, whatever that might come as, whatever form it is, and we always play it down like, oh, well, he wasn't very nice, and it's just so interesting that we like play that shit down. So anyway, I get what you're saying, and I was the same. I blocked friends over it. He was very controlling, and I've got a lot of male friends. I really vibe with male friendship energy because I'm a bit can't be asked with the bullshit of the politics of women, right?
Do you know what? Just before I said in a friendship, we did a friendship topic today, and I was like, "What do you think about the friendship with girls, and why is it different to like male friendships?" He's like, "Because you girls don't fucking forget anything. We got guys just kind of let things go and just move on. Like that's how, and that's why he's still friends with like his friends from 20 years." Exactly.
I challenge because I think I think, yes, we remember stuff, but I am very much, if we have discussed it and we've put it to bed and we've both found a line to draw, fine. Obviously, we'll remember those things, but I'm not going to hold grudges like I think men think that we do. But also, I think if we've said we're going to put it to bed, let's put it to bed, right? Yeah. And I think that's the difference. So I blocked a lot of my male friends, and I hated it. I missed them dearly and I loved them dearly. And I came out of that relationship and I felt that I had to grovel. And again, they were like, you just did it with no warning. Like what I was thinking, what have I done? And actually, it was really horrible of me to do that. But I was between a rock and a hard place, right? Because I had someone that I thought I was in love with that was giving me all these conditions. Someone that I loved, but I thought, well, I'm not seeing them every day and not living with them and not doing whatever with them, so I'll have to forfeit them, right? But actually, they're such cornerstones of who you are in your life and your livelihood, your friends. They're your support network, and I think that's where difficult relationships they're very clever at that, where they kind of strip away those real important people and foundations in your life. But just to touch on something you were talking about, Lex, about people pleasing, and how actually that is a red flag behavior as well. So I was talking to someone the other day and they said something like people pleasing behavior is really manipulative. And I immediately was triggered because I was like, me manipulative? How dare you? Like,
but I'm the good one in this.
Then I sat there and I thought, okay, let me sit with this a minute. And they were talking about it and they were like, you're basically showing me the very best kind of, you're telling me everything I want to hear right now.
Yeah.
So that you'll get your way. And it's not that you'll want to get your way, it's that you want to ensure that friendship and you want to ensure the safety of that thing that you hold on to. But actually, I was like, do you know what? You're right. It is manipulative behavior because I'm not telling you my thoughts and my needs.
Yeah,
true.
Even if they go against yours, just because I want to be liked by you, or just because I want to get something from you, aka the friendship. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, that's such an interesting take.
I see it. I mean, I totally get where you're coming from. I would have more seen it as in, it's really difficult because I think it depends on the friendship and stuff. Like, I mean, there's friends where it's like I did it because I wanted to. It wasn't because I wanted anything out of it. It's just because I'm very much. If I love you, if I care about you, I do fucking anything for you. Like,
exactly.
I'm that friend. You need me, call me. Tell me when you need me. I think in relationships maybe it can be manipulative. I suppose. Yeah. I suppose in friendships and stuff too. I think it's more manipulative I think it's because you don't. I don't know. I see it as in I've also had like shit relationship where I became very needy with a person, and I became very people pleasy just to please them. I think because he had broken me down so much that I felt like I needed to be that person in order to. So yeah, maybe it is a manipulation. I suppose. Yeah, when you put it like that, I suppose. Yeah, maybe I was manipulating myself to do it as well. Right. I suppose in that respect. So,
and I don't fully agree with it.
I get it. It's hard to hear, but I totally get
and I
it.
was like, it really got me, and I was riled up, and we really had it out. I can't remember who it was. Like, it was a friend that I can be like that with, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And but we had it out, and we sat and we talked about it, and I think they were deliberately trying to get a reaction, right? But also there was something in that, and I disagree because I think manipulation is deliberate, whereas I think people pleasing isn't deliberately trying to fool anyone. I think you're doing it out of fear a lot of the time. People pleasing is fear.
It's an anxious attachment for definite. You're doing it because you don't want to lose that person. You don't want to lose what you put into that relationship. Lynn and I had this conversation previously on something where say someone is like emotionally unavailable. This is on the relationship side of things, obviously, as well. But it's like, if someone's emotionally unavailable and then you've got someone who is trying to people please and won't leave the situation, they're also emotionally unavailable because they know they're in a bad situation, but they will not leave knowing full well that it's not good for them. So I get it as in the people please side thing, and it is maybe as a manipulation slightly on that. So it's like kind of like mind blowing.
Just an interesting idea, right? I just thought I'd bring it to you both identify with that, and I wanted to hear what you thought. I just think it's I don't fully agree, but I think it's an interesting way to look at people-pleasing behaviour, you know?
I would say the same as you. I don't fully agree with it, but I do understand where that comment comes from. Like, I get it. So what about you, Lynn? What do you think?
Agree. Like you say, it's this fear that you don't want to be judged for being you. Don't want to step out of your comfort zone, do you? You just want to kind of go along and be liked, and so you are to a certain extent. Yes, you are. Yeah. Manipulating people to like you, but by doing that, you're kind of losing a sense of yourself and who you are as well. And again, but you don't know you're doing it at the time as well.
It's like if I really think about, like, I've got friends that I feel like I'm friends with, and then there's friends that I know I can be 100% me, no judgment and whatever, and I can like if one of you was saying earlier, I can be my best and my worst with this person, they would still love me regardless. And it's crazy because it's like you do sort of, I feel like with those people that I people please more with, they're the ones that are like who don't know me 100%, because if they did, I wouldn't have to be this way with them, right? And then I think that's when you have to start kind of looking at your friendships a little bit. And then also I think like having negative friendships as well. Like, I didn't realize really that until COVID, actually, because COVID made me realize like who was really, I know like everyone was going through different things in that time. I totally get it. I know I was absolutely terrified, but I ended up developing like a new friendship group within the friends I already had, just because we were all kind of checking in on each other all the time. And then that was like, okay, so these girls really like looking out for me. I'm looking out for them, and I'm getting that back as well. Like, and when we all hung out together, just as like all the restrictions and stuff were lifted, I actually hung out with people that weren't negative thinking, and they weren't like bitching about each other. And don't get me wrong, we all have a gossip and a bitch every now and then, I get it, but like it wasn't horrible negative thinking about our friendship groups and other people and stuff and whatever. And I was kind of like, these are actually quite nice friendships to have. And it made me change a little bit of like having that more positive outlook on life, and like having like positive friendships and not kind of slagging everything off and seeing the bad in it, and it made me realize after that I was like, it's also really important to be friends with people, but to like question, what are you actually bringing to the table as a friendship? I'm not saying we need to be friends and I need to get something out of this, but it's like, as a friend, what are you bringing to the table? And I think you have to question that in yourself as well. Is that, am I a good person? Do I care about a person? Am I there for them? Can I be there for them in the times when they need them? Are they going to be all right if I tell them something they're not going to like to hear? Like if I feel like it's important, if I care about them enough. It really does make you think about actually going forwards now, like, it's not just about what you're bringing to me, but what do I bring to you? Like, am I a good friend for you? And if not, then you need to tell me, because I don't want us to pretend. I don't want them to people please me, pretending that they're all jiggy when actually they hate me, or probably slagging me off to somebody else as well, So that it does make you, I think the last couple of years, I think as you get older, Robin, you're still a bit young, blessed, babe, but when you get to your age more, so I think it hits you even more that you're like, who are these people in my life and do I need them?
You know what, they're touching on that though, I think everything you've just said, absolutely agree. And I think what I was hearing as you were saying that was that self-awareness piece. And I think until you're self-aware, or on the journey of self-awareness, where, start, middle, end, I mean, we've never completed it, right? It's always a journey. But I think as we gain self-awareness, we lose friendships. And in a positive way. Like you said, you understand you understand what matters, you understand what, I notice that I notice that when I see their name come up on my phone, I get that feeling in my tummy. Why is that? Okay, I notice that I've changed plans or this, that, and the other for that person, or I always go with the flow with them. Why is that? I'm kind of unpicking and exploring these behaviors, and knowing that solid friendships that are reciprocal and, nourishing won't ask that from you. So kind of learning those behaviors and learning when that happens and when it doesn't, and kind of really staying present with that. And also, you know, like you said about learning more about yourself. And I actually, when I was younger, I think I've always been about 85 years old in my head, even as a 5-year-old, right? I've always
old head and young shoulders, right?
Yeah, literally. But because of that,
Love
I felt
that.
really lonely as a, you know, and I felt like I had to kind of pretend to be. And like I said earlier, I've always taken things quite seriously, but actually having to forfeit that gut feeling and those parts of yourself in order to have friends was a real challenge when I was growing up, because I was grappling with it. I thought, well, I don't want to talk about that, or I don't want to engage in just shit chat about, you know, talking rubbish about other people. I don't want to do that. But I felt that I had to forfeit that voice in my head to have friends, right? So I think you can be any age, and I think have that awareness of actually what is nourishing me, what is feeding me here, and what is actually really, you know, damaging me here or burning me out or whatever it might be. So I think the more you know yourself, the more you find your tribe, right? Because you feel it. You've got to trust it. I think that gut feeling.
Are you both like, Lynn, I'll ask you first maybe, like, are you comfortable in your own loneliness? So if you like lost friends tomorrow, would you be comfortable just being you on your own?
Such a good question. Do you know what? My first thought was that, yes, don't give a fuck. Been burnt, I've been hurt, people want to walk away or whatever, then fine. Like I said before, I'm not going to put in any effort to anyone that doesn't want to effort into this friendship, or you know, I think that's kind of my opinion. My first instinct was, yeah, I'd be fine with it, but actually I'd miss my friends.
Yeah, I get it.
I'd miss them, and it's kind of that fear of, oh no, fuck, I need to start again, you know, and find a new tribe. But if you look back and, you know, 10 years ago and your group of friends from 10 years ago and your group of friends now, and how that's changed, like, you change and you evolve, and that's okay. But if people walk out of your life, then there's a reason why they're walking out of your life, you know. It's to make space to either meet new people, or for you to kind of maybe take a step back and reevaluate, okay, why has this happened? To that respect, yes, I probably am okay with my own loneliness, and I'll figure it out along the way. You know, I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
Robin, what about you? Are you comfortable in your own loneliness?
Yeah, that is a fantastic question. I would be very upset. I would look inwards. I think I'd do it less than I did before, because I've learned a bit more now. And like you said, Lynn, these things happen for a reason. I mean, I can't imagine circumstances that I'd lose every single one of my friends. That would be terrifying and horrendous.
What have I
done? You must absolute bitch. Kind of red, are you?
But like you said, you know, I've felt like I've lost everything before, and I've built up from that, and I was weak at that time. I'd never, you know, it was my first rodeo that time around. Now, you know, I have the strength, and I do feel lonely sometimes, like what you said about, you know, having friends in different life stages to you. Most of my friends have partners. I think I have like one single friend. And even that makes a massive difference. They don't want to do the same. So I think, and I have to sit with that loneliness even now, and I do have friends, right? And loneliness is a really difficult thing. I think it is a very all-encompassing feeling, and it tells us lies sometimes, and we believe them.
That's so true.
In the quietness of our room, or the quietness of our living room, or wherever we're sat dwelling and, you know, wallowing. But actually, yeah, I think loneliness is an unfriendly face, but actually we do have it within us. We will be okay. If you lose all your friends, you will be okay, and you'll figure it out. But right now, that is tough, and that's a hard thing to swallow, you know.
There's a couple of instances where we kind of touched on, like, the admin of like having friends and the WhatsApp chats and everything else, and it's easy, isn't it? It's because of this digital age or whatever, and trying to kind of maintain friendships over WhatsApp or over social. It's mad. It's like a total mind fuck. So sometimes you're sitting there and you're kind of reading messages and you might overthink things and you're like, oh, well, she said that. What's he, and there are times when I've just thought to myself, I'm just going to leave the chat. I'm just going to, and just be done with it. I'm just going to leave. And I've openly said that to to individual friends and said, oh, I think I'm just going to leave it. But also at the same time, when you're in a group of friends as well, it's like you kind of don't want to upset that dynamic. Again, it's that people pleasing thing, isn't it?
It is people pleasing for sure.
Why don't I just stick to my guns and just leave the fucking chat? And it's like, and in some respects, I think it'd be healthier for me to just leave and just lock it off, draw a line under it. But it isn't just you, is it? You've got X amount of people in that chat and the dynamics that you don't want to upset, and there are people that you kind of really care about that actually I don't want to upset the apple cart.
I feel like I get it. And do you know what's awful now is that when you're like, if say we fall out with someone, like you might fall out with someone, and if they unfollow you, you're like, oh wow, we really fell out, like we don't even follow each other anymore, like, fuck, we don't hit some next level of falling out. Like it's so awkward and it's so ridiculous. And it's like if you leave the WhatsApp group, then it's like, oh shit, like you left the WhatsApp group, therefore like the friendships are all ended. And it's so
it's over.
It's ridiculous. Like I'm still in a group that I know that I should technically leave, because obviously I feel like with these like some of my friends, some are still friendly with, some obviously like I'm just polite with them, like I don't really pay attention to it. And one of my mates said, why don't you just leave the group? And I was like, I kind of can't, like it's so awkward now that if I just did, it would be like, why have you now you're just like, it's like I feel like you're starting a new shit by leaving the group. Like it's like starting a whole new fight by just leaving that group. So I'm like, you know what, I will if I reply, I reply. If I don't, I don't. Like, they're messaging the odd time, and I just sort of, like something, like a heart, laughing emoji. I'll show like a face, but like as far as I'm saying, like we've got nothing to talk about anymore. Like we're not there anymore as friends. But
muted, archived.
But it's because I care about my other friends in the group. I don't want
exactly.
I don't want to cause an issue, and I don't want to be that person, and I don't want to make it awkward for them that they feel they have to take a side.
But what's the right thing to do? What's the right thing to do?
Is just to play stupid and kill it with kindness.
I'm gonna fully challenge you. Fully disagree here.
You're gonna leave the group, aren't you?
I will leave that group chat. I will leave that group chat. I had one recently that was a family group chat, and I was like, I'm done. I was like, what? Who am I doing this for?
For sure. It's so true.
Has other layers and it's complex. But the friend ones, I'm like, I'm going to leave because this isn't adding to me. I'm not adding to you. And if someone wants to ask me why I left it, you can call me or message me and ask me why I left it. It's no hard feelings. But what are we doing this play pretend for? Who are we doing it for? We're all grown up, and I can't be asked with this play pretend. And I think that this is very much recent years and the unapologetic era, I think. But in my head, I'm thinking, well, what are we going through these motions for? This social engagement that means nothing to any of us. Like, let's just cut and run, and that's okay. It's okay if you leave. It's okay if I leave. Like, if you want to call me and let's go for a coffee, let's do something random outside of the group. Let's do that. But me being in, because like you've both said, honestly, deep down, if there were no consequences, you'd leave it right now.
I'll be out like that.
Right? For sure.
But we're doing it again for others, or hold up these social expectations, and why? But I just want to touch on something you said in terms of this digital age, right? And one of the notes that I made, and this is like my TED Talk topic, like I could talk about it for hours. Okay. The rise in technology and the rise in social media has equaled in the decline in community and the decline in connection, right? And obviously 100%. You guys, like you said, are a little bit older than me, but I feel like I was the last generation where we still played out, and maybe kids do, but not in the same way. Like, we still played out, we still played with sticks and had like sword fights with them. We still did all this stuff, right, where it wasn't based online, and you could go round to your neighbour's house and all of that different stuff. And maybe that does still happen, and maybe I'm romanticizing it, but I have definitely felt since the Facebook era and since Instagram and all of those things, that kind of hit when I was like 14, 15. Facebook came out, I think. So I was I'd had enough of that kind of the formative years growing in a community. And then I got that. I still felt a lot of levels of loneliness, right? But imagine getting that when you're 6, 7.
Yeah, because that's a young age to be feeling like that, for sure. Like,
because you're disconnected from human beings, right? There's no...
I feel like I've gone full circle recently, because it started off, obviously, you'd see your friends, then we started texting, then it was like WhatsApping, social media, then it was a voice note. I'm now at that point that, like, texting is such a long thing. I can't be fucked to text you. I would rather either you call me really quickly and we just talk, and we just voice, and even voice notes, I don't mind, but you're still not talking to somebody. You're talking to yourself, which is good. It's good sometimes, because it's almost a bit like, I've got like this one group that I'm in, and I swear, like, the girls that we all voice note each other, it's half-hour voice notes. We like, it's literally therapy. Like, it's
therapy
just
sit in the bath and play. Yeah.
Oh my god, if I could honestly, it'd be like, you asked us how are you, and then you would get a whole life story
get a podcast
in half an hour.
Basically, that's how this happened. Yeah,
and shit, you know, I'm sitting there writing notes, going, I must remember to. Okay, so then
that's what I do when someone gives me a I need to know what to respond to.
I need to make sure I respond. I need to make sure that I'm
in order, like an email. Like, you're just making bullet points from like a voice note going right. Sure. Yeah. Oh, and my god.
And I'm like, why the fuck did we not just meet up? We could have just had a conversation. We could have just met and just actually had a coffee and taken an hour of our time max, like, kind of thing. So I've kind of gone a bit, and I've got one cousin who is still really old school. She'll still ring me every now and then for a chat, and I'm like, I love that she does that, because no one when she used to first ring, I used to go, oh god, have a phone call, because I knew I'd be on the phone for ages, and I didn't mind, but I was like, I knew we were going to talk for ages, and now I'm like, I love that she calls me, because I'm like, yes, I will happily have a conversation with you. You can't meet as much. It's really difficult timing wise, so it's actually nice to do a phone call. So I've kind of got a bit old school with it, but it's true, the whole,
I like that.
The communication thing, and it's hard as well. The other thing is the women's thing as well, is that we are quite connected to our phones, that if somebody messages, we feel like we need to reply back as quickly as possible, because it's, oh shit, I better reply now, otherwise I'll forget. And then I feel like you're kind of a bit like, because I am someone who does reply quite quickly, and I've tried to stay a bit away from my phone now, that it's almost like I need to reply fast, because then they're going to think, oh, I didn't bother to reply back to them, or I'll forget to reply back, and then they'll be offended that I didn't get back to them. I've only got one friend that takes like weeks to reply, and I know she's like that, so I leave her, because I know that that's her, the way she works.
She's all right with it. Yeah,
she's cool with it. Yeah, we're both as bad. I'll be like, oh, it's been 7 days since I last messaged you, like, you know, like that kind of thing. But there is that thing as well. You're then forced to have to communicate. That annoys me a little bit as well. That it's like, you're expected to reply back within a certain amount of time on something, or you feel like, unless it's something urgent. Like, I try and not reply back so quickly now on some things, because I just think, I'll come back in a bit. Or even like a WhatsApp group, you feel like you need to participate in it to show that you're there, you're aware of what's happening.
Or you're spending time
like
overwhelming. Yeah, we were spending time like trying to formulate a response which isn't immediate, which isn't you know, like reacting at that moment to, you know, you're kind of, it's mad. But it's like, I know you've gone backwards, but I've kind of like gone to now where me and my friends like just communicating memes, and that's it. And I see like, oh, do you know, and you're just sending each other shit.
I challenge you all to very badly. I did it once and I tried it and I was like, actually it worked. Use chat AI, just chat GPT to help to reply back to a friend that you don't know what the fuck to say to them. Like, I did it once. I actually tested it once with a friend. They texted me like, and I really didn't, it wasn't anything bad. I just didn't know how to reply to this text. I thought, let me just see what chat GPT would say in that situation. And it actually gave a response, and I was like, fuck, that's really crazy that people would actually, I mean, I did it once, I never do it again. Like, I'm not that person. In the future. I was just curious, like, I don't know what to say to this. Like, what can I do that will sound sincere? And I think I even put things like sound sincere and sound like, and I was like, wow, it's a little guinea pig experiment kind of thing. It was crazy.
Every time you text me now, Lex, I'm going to be like, she didn't write that.
She's GPT, that doesn't sound like her.
No, you'll know it's me. It'll be full of spelling mistakes, a lot of swearing, and I'll probably drop a voice note as well, because I can't be bothered to text it back. So you'll know it's me. So, Robin, do you have anything you want to ask us?
I'm going to go full coach. Sorry. In advance.
That's what we brought you on.
What are your friendship goals over the coming year? Like, what's important? What are you going to kind of put in the forefront of what's important to you in terms of friendships, current friendships, non-current friendships? Like, what are your friendship goals for this year? Lynn, I'll come to you first.
Energy, good energy. And yeah, it's just going to sound really corny, but like with Lex, would you know when you just you just get an energy from someone and you just know, and there was something in there which was like, you know what, you've got a good energy, whenever it was, like a few months ago, and it was like, I wonder if Lex wants to do a podcast. And you do that thing where you're like toing and froing and you're like, oh, I don't know,
asking me out.
Oh fuck it, yeah, just send it. Oh god, I've asked her. Oh no, what she's gonna think I'm mad, like I don't know. And she's like, yes, yeah. And you just do it, and I just thought, she left me on red. Yeah, she was on ChatGPT.
She was the one on ChatGPT answered too.
How do I respond to this weirdo that like I barely know, and she wants to do a podcast? But you know, it's for me, it's finding people with good energy, just trusting my gut and trusting my instinct. And for me, like it's been like a different journey this year, and doing this and really stepping out my comfort zone, and you know, Instagram, like Lex has mentioned already, with people kind of reaching out to you, and you kind of very quickly see who is supporting you for the right reasons, and even those who aren't on social and aren't on Instagram, who isn't. And yeah, it's kind of maybe looking at that this year and just kind of making sure that circle is just people with good energy, and people who are just going to support you no matter what, and in their own special ways, however that might be. So yeah.
I think you've already succeeded. I think you've succeeded with that, because I'll be honest with you, when we started Mood, it was a lot of your friends and family that were like the first ones to follow and comment and say, oh my God, I can't wait to hear the first podcast and stuff. And I thought that was so lovely, because you don't really get a lot of people that do that. They'll be like, yeah, okay, just let me know when it's live and I'll never listen. But they were like, no, but it's true. But like, they were really positive, and they were like the first ones to give feedback and stuff. And I thought that was so lovely. And they inbox, and then sometimes I think they forget they're chatting to me, and I'm like, it's Lex, by the way. And they're like, oh shit. And I thought that was really lovely. So I felt like you're already halfway there in that respect. And I'm going to really touch very quickly on what you said about our friendship. One of the things that I loved was actually you approached me. And the reason why I say that is because I'm always someone that will always go to people and be like, oh, it'd be so good if we did this. Or they would say something and be like, oh, it'd be so good if they did this, but they never would go ahead with it. Like I've had a few people say in the past, I'd love to do a podcast with you. And I'm like, cool, let's do it. And then nothing. And then I'm like, okay, well, they're all good saying it, but they want me to set it up, or they're not willing to put the work in as well. And when you came to me, and I'll be honest, when I joined working at the place that we work, I was a bit like, I'm going to make friends with people, but I'm going to kind of, I've been burnt before a bit, I suppose. And I was like, I'll take my time. If I make friends, cool. And if I don't, I don't. And it's not a disrespect to anybody there, because everyone at our workplace is lovely. But I kind of just was like, I'll go in with a bit more, not a in your face, I want to make friends kind of vibe. I'll just be a bit more chill. So when you approached me, I was like, I love that, because I wasn't expecting it. And especially because we are on Teams, because it's a digital thing, it's so hard to connect with people, and we don't all see each other all the time. So I got a really nice vibe from you as soon as I met you. I remember I would watch you on Teams and be like, Lynn has the nicest hair. And then when we actually saw each other at a baby shower, karaoke, yes, I remember we just like hugged each other and stuff. And it was just like, yeah, it's like Robin, like you and I, when we met, you say you just kind of pick up vibes from people, and it's just a nice thing. So I loved that. And I'm really glad that we started this podcast, and I hope we carry on doing it for as long as possible. So there's all that nice side of that on that. I think my goals, I would say it's kind of similar. I would say it's definitely energy. It's people that actually I relate with, but a positive, relatable thing. Like, and also I want to be friends with people that are also trying to work on themselves too, because I think it's just really helpful. Like I don't get me wrong, I love helping people and I love talking to people, even if they're not where they want to be at and stuff, and like helping them. But it's also so nice to have people that feel like they're kind of there as well, that you gel off and you learn from also. So I would definitely say it's those who, and I want to go out. I want to hang out with people that want to go. I want to hang out with people that want to go out and do stuff as well. Like I know we've become that. I'm really bad. Like I'll get friends that'll be like, "Oh, did you watch that show last night? I've been binge watching." I'm like, "No," because I went out. Like I just like I stare at a screen all day. Like I can't. Like I have to be really in the mood to watch something for hours on end. Like my husband will tell you the same. Like he loves films and stuff, and I'm very different to him. I'm like, I'd rather go out for a night out and create memories and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with watching loads of series on stuff. I do it. It's just I don't do it a lot. But I want to go out with I think my friendship is the goals is to find like-minded people who still like doing that and who don't feel like they're too old to still be going out and having fun and, you know, getting dressed up for a night out. And I don't mean go out and spend like 100 quid on a dinner, because even that's taking the piss as well. I just mean have good debates. Maybe that is another reason why we maybe set up podcasts, right? Because it was to have conversations, and I love that. So I think like-minded people, big debates, and just good energy, I would say, is very similar to what Lynn is looking for as well. What about you, Robin?
What are my friendship goals for the year? I think, like I said, I've got that list of names. I think I want to just assess. I love all those people dearly, and I want to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a bit of an assessment, I think, and I just want to make sure, are these friendships nourishing those people? Am I still leaning into any of the? And I think what's the audit is the word I'm looking for. I want to almost do, and that sounds like a weird thing, but I almost
maybe coal, is that too not coal? No,
I don't
is that, no, okay. I was just checking. Just checking.
It's like coal's way better.
Stop prayer. I think I want to just do a bit of an audit and almost like give and get feedback. I know that sounds so weird, but like we do it for work all the time, and that is bullshit compared to the things that actually matter in terms of friendships. So, you know, are we on the same page? Are we really thriving with each other as friends? Like I think we are. I assume that we are. So I think giving and getting that feedback with the people that I love around me, and also doing more fun things, like you said, Lex, I totally get that. I think you can just get into the habit of being like, you know, and just go through the same motions. Or I'm a sucker for going for a coffee with people, which is all well and good, right? But why don't we go to one of those painting in the dark classes, or why don't we go to an exhibition? You know what I mean? Like, I live in central London.
Love a gimmick. Love a gimmick.
And I just think I want to do more stuff that's just different and do it with people that I love. So just get out of the comfort zone a bit more and do more stuff with those great people, I guess, is my goal for my friendship.
Well, you love to let us know how the coal goes.
Oh yeah.
How many didn't make the cut?
My goal this year is to cull at least 5 people from my friendship.
Lynn's planning on killing your friends, and Robin's
just leaving WhatsApp chats. Yeah.
We leave them all, guys.
In my WhatsApp chats. Leave them.
I'm a pussy. I won't do it. I know.
Yeah. How many times do you like write messages and then rewrite them? And I'm shaking, going, "Oh, I don't know if I can send that. I don't."
So many. We've not known each other long, Lex, but we're in 3 group chats, maybe 4.
Yeah,
I know. No, it's so true. It's so true. We're in like
too many.
Like a main. So we've got we're in like a main fitness group, and then some of us are doing a photo shoot, so we're also in that, and then some of us are going to a retreat in Crete, and so we're in that. So we're in quite a lot. I think there's more than that.
Then we've got one from the previous shoot. We've got one from December shoot. We've got one from April shoot, the retreat, and the main group. Maybe another one.
Man.
Who knows?
And don't forget you and I. Yeah, and we message each other on Instagram and WhatsApp as well.
And we only met each other. For the first time on the 9th of December. It's crazy.
That's the only good thing about media. It's social media and things like that, and actually doing the things that we're doing. It's the beauty of you do meet people and you connect, and you actually can keep in touch with them. And it's not some person you saw.
That is the silver lining.
Again. So there's a silver lining. We're kind of blessed in that respect. But we're in way too many groups together.
I'm just going to open my phone afterwards and be like, Lex is off the group chat. Lex is off it.
I'm getting audited right now as we speak. Actually, that is one of the reasons why I did join doing a program, like a fitness program, was because there was that added benefit of meeting like-minded people and stuff, and it was so amazing as well to see everyone was so like confident and stuff when we did a photo shoot, but they were also so insecure at the same time, and it was like really, they were so authentic, and it was lovely to kind of see that and get to see them really push themselves as well. So it was lovely. So that's what I mean. Those are the kind of people I want to meet. It's people like that like I think you said earlier, like being self-aware, like these people that are working on themselves and knowing when they're doing good, when they're not doing good, and I like that. So well, props to us. Hopefully we will make the friends that we need to be making in life, and we keep at it. And Robin, thank you so much for coming on and doing the podcast with us. Robin, thank you so much for coming on and doing the podcast with us. It was really, I hope you enjoyed it as well. And,
loved it.
Good, brilliant. That's what we like to hear. Tell all your friends, the ones that you're still friends with, obviously, as well.
Yeah. I'm talking about two people afterwards. Yeah. No, thanks for having me. I've had a really, really great time and great chats.
And thank you for finding, honestly, thank you for finding time in your busy schedule to actually sit with us for like nearly an hour and a half and chat about this. So it's been brilliant. There's nothing really else to say apart from choose your friends wisely. Know when you're also the problem friend. And Lynn, finish one last little tip for me because I've run out of things to say.
Robin's got one.
Friends will come and go, but you will be fine. You'll be the one remaining. So make friends with yourself first. Whatever happens, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Trust your gut, I think. Trust your gut. Find good energy. That's it.
Yeah.
And Robin, if you ever want to come on and do another podcast with us, because we have multiple subjects that we want to discuss, you are most
very,
welcome.
very welcome.
I will share them with you. And if you're like,
you let me know. I'll be there.
I will do. Thank you.
Amazing.
Mood. Relatable as fuck.